Hey everybody, welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So my name is Samantha, and oh my gosh, you guys, I have so much information to show y'all. Okay, let's start with this. Have you checked this lately? That is literally the title for every chapter we're going to do in today's video because I need you guys to understand something. There have been some changes to Social Security. We're going to get to that. I'm going to show you our president. Super proud of him, by the way, and the things that he's doing. I just want to say this. We all know that Jesus said that in the end times, it would be like the days of Noah, right? So much is going on with pestilence and insects and the New World screwworm and these rabbits with things growing out of their faces. But it's also the sexual immorality, right? Like we have been covering sex trafficking victims, child trafficking, what's going on in the United States, why they kept the borders open, who is involved in that, right? Why it's such a big deal. So then we can all agree that it is never okay for someone to predatorize a child. And I think everybody with any shred of human decency thinks what Brigitte Macron did with Emmanuel Macron was just disgusting. She was a school teacher. She was in a position of power. That is the biggest breach of trust, in my opinion, next to what parents do to their own children. Having said that, did you guys see this? And I have to show this to you. Like, I really do, because I am a bit concerned about what's going on. And I want to show you. Let me set it all up. Give me just a second. You guys know that Sam is going to be 51 here in a few days. And I am learning to broaden my abilities. Okay. So I want to know if you guys have seen this. Let me get it full size and let you guys hear this.
We got an estimate this weekend from a legal team. It is going to cost us millions. I don't have that money. I really don't. If they don't drop this at some point, blah, 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 here's how much it's going to cost you just to get through the deposition phase. How much it's going to cost you to go all the way through. And they are estimating $5 million. It's like a lot of money. And
what she's not telling you, and it's what I have told all of you from day one, this is bad for Candace, not necessarily for the Macrons. Because there are some comments that she made that they're obviously going to be able to prove are not true. One of which were that Brigitte is somehow Macron's father, and it's an incestual relationship. You guys, she also made the comment, and it is in the lawsuit, but it's also all over her, her social media platforms. I dare you to sue me. In fact, I'll pay for your attorneys. Now, she said that out of her own mouth. All of you that watch Candace, you know I'm not lying. She taunted them. She said, I will file it and pay for it myself. Then I also heard out of her mouth that they would, get rid of Brigitte before this went to discovery. It would never get that far. And now it sounds like let's go back. Sounds like she's panicking a bit here, folks.
And this lawsuit, we got an estimate this weekend from a legal team. It is going to cost us millions.
I told you it would. I told you that it would. And because I honestly believe that something has happened to Candace Owens. I believe that either she has been brainwashed or her husband is part of the SSPX. They were excommunicated in the 70s and slowly were able to get some of their rights back as priests and nuns, like they can do marriages and christenings now, but they're still not fully part of the Catholic Church. So she's in this archaic cult within the Catholic Church that believes all this insane stuff about the Protestants, about the 1,000-year reign, about the Jewish people. And when she started this, she had to have known that it was going to end up in court. That is why I'm telling you guys, I feel like this was all done so that people like myself and other platforms on social media, we're going to have like a noose put around our necks to what we can and cannot say on social media anymore, because this lawsuit is going to start a precedent of people being able to sue you for saying things when you were just trying to lay out a story. Like, there's no way that any of us can have proof whether or not Brigitte Macron is female or not female, right? Like, in fact, that goes for the rumors out on the mill that Candace Owens was a man and that her husband was a transgender. Like, those are just rumors. There's no way to prove or disprove them, correct? Like, not without genetic testing. So now, anytime a podcaster brings up someone's sexual identity, we're going to be open to a lawsuit. So in the end, all Candace has done is not fight child sex trafficking, not fight pedophilia, not fight the elite. All she's done is play directly into their hands. That is the biggest concern. That is what upset me, is that people could not see where this was going. You were so caught up in the story, and stories are great, and people should be able to give them. But she defamed this woman and the Macrons in general so badly with absolutely no actual proof. Like, even the face-to-face software she's been using, people are debunking that all over social media. They're putting their pictures into that program, that AI program, as a child and as an adult. And the program is telling them that it can't be the same person when they know it is. It's their self. This is so bad for conservatives in general. The left is literally mocking us, and it's done nothing to raise awareness about child trafficking, about pedophilia. Nothing. She could have used all that energy in all this 8-part series and showing how they were bringing children across the border, but she didn't. Instead, she's got us embroiled, us, all conservatives and all content creators, in a lawsuit that is going to remove our First Amendment rights, where we can't even hint if somebody is transgender in a male and a female role somewhere, because they'll be able to sue us now because of this nonsense.
I don't have that money. I really don't.
Yes, she does. Candace Owens alone is worth $5 million. That's her businesses. That's what her businesses are worth right now. Well, in 2024. After doing this 8-part series, I guarantee you for 2025, it's going to be more like 7.5 million. Okay. And then she got married and she lives in Tennessee. Now, I'm not sure where her marriage license is from, and I don't know marriage law in Tennessee. But in Louisiana, once you get married, everything is community property, which means if somebody sues Samantha, that Stephen has to pay for it. So I don't know what it's like in Tennessee. I would assume her husband had her sign a prenup, because he's worth somewhere between 100 and 200 million dollars. He is British elite, and I'm going to show you how much land he owns in America. Watch this. It says there, Candace's husband, George Former, estimated net worth 180 to 240 million dollars. I don't have this money.
If they don't drop this at some point, but
Oh, wait. I thought she assured everybody this lawsuit was never going to be filed. They filed it. Then she mocked them. Then she assured everybody they would get rid of Brigitte before this went even to discovery. Brigitte's still breathing. And now she's having to speak to attorneys because she realized, oh, wow, I messed around and now I found out. These people are not dropping this lawsuit. Oh my gosh. They're not letting me off the hook.
Blah, blah. Here's how much it's going to cost you just to get through the deposition phase. How much it's going to cost you to go all the way through. And they are estimating $5 million. It's like a lot of money.
And guess how much the Macrons are going to ask her for when it's all over? I told y'all she's going to have having to pay these people around $20 million. This stunt, and that's what it was, of Candace Owens to bring some attention back to herself after the Daily Wire. She really slumped. When she left the Daily Wire, very few people followed her. But when she started the Macron thing, because so many of us are worried about child sex trafficking, pedophilia, we know about the cannibalism, we know about the satanic rituals. I mean, this story hinted on all of that. There were so many nuances, right? The problem is she could have done a deep dive on all those topics without bringing in the Macrons, but she didn't, did she? And now she's selling t-shirts to pay for her legal fees. That would be like me saying to you guys, hey, so, my husband and I were drinking and driving and we wrecked. Oops. The people that we hit are now suing us. And I'm going to sell t-shirts that say, save the Starkeys. Ha ha ha. So you guys can pay for my legal fees.
We do not have that money just laying around.
Really? How does her husband own a farm in Nebraska? He's got full estates in England. Sell something, Candace. Sell something. Sell some of the land you guys are sitting on, like 100,000 acres of land spread out across 2 continents, maybe 3. And you're literally going to tell the people that you're watching that you don't have that money lying around. If this is not insulting, if this is not elitist behavior, I don't know what is. You guys can get upset with me all you want. You can love Candace all you want. But if you can't see the grifting in this, that's on you. Okay, the Malibu estate, 7,200 square feet, worth $5.5 million. They have a Colorado farm, $3.2 million. Nashville home, 6 bedrooms, $8 million. Austin mansion, that's in Texas, 5 bedrooms, $7 million. They have a Stanford home, $6 million. Miami commercial property, $2.7 million. And then they have a farm in Nebraska, 90 acres, $1.8 million. Looks like, Candace, you're going to have to do what some of us do when things go wrong that we weren't expecting, but you were fully expecting this. You were prompting it. You were prodding it. You were mocking it. Your words created the nonsense that you're in, and you're asking honest people who are appalled by sex predators to bail you out. And I pray, I really do pray that you guys see through that. This is no different than the Carmelo Anthony nonsense. I stabbed and killed another boy at a school event with a knife, knowing I wasn't supposed to have a knife there, right? And I'm going to ask you to pay for all of my defense. Yet I was the one that did the stabbing. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at this. Candace's real estate portfolio, her husband's, right? London mansion, 19.5 million. 10 additional properties located in the UK, France, Morocco, Belgium, and Germany. Wow. Why doesn't Candace do the right thing and just stop? These people asked her to stop. It would all literally go away if she stopped. The information's out there. Isn't that what she wanted? If she truly just wanted to make people aware that this is what was happening in France, how it's connected to other countries, which we all know that. We all know that the elites share children, fly them to private islands. Nobody's denying that, Candace. At this point, she could delete all those videos. All of you've already watched every single minute of it. It's not like she needs to leave them up. and retract her statement, and all of this would go away. But she's not going to, because that's not the point. The point is that she is a neoconservative. Candace Owens is not a true conservative. She has a deeper meaning here, just like Tucker Carlson. She could just call Qatar or Russia. One of them probably give her the money.
So I thought we could actually sell some t-shirts. I just picture people wearing this like at the grocery store, like walking by each other, and like, we know what it means, like hashtag free Emmanuel. It's like subtle enough. I really like this, free Emmanuel. You're going to see somebody wearing a t-shirt and be like, we know what's up. We know what's going on in France. Somebody rescue Emmanuel Macron. I'm not kidding. The estimate is millions of dollars.
And I have to say, well done to her PR team, because people who buy these t-shirts, they're buying it because it makes them feel like they belong to something. That is all it is. It is to make people feel like they belong to something. See, this is what I'm talking about. It wasn't even that she tried to say Brigitte Macron was a man. She tried to claim it was Emmanuel's father. And it's bad. It's just bad. It just makes everybody look so bad. And because she mixed it in with transgenderism, we're all going to lose our rights. Let's talk about immigration. If you guys see what happened, oh my gosh, Newsom
officials.
Right
behind you, brother.
You guys are. Let me go back a bit. You guys have to hear this. This happened in California, outside of it, like a Newsom route.
Tokyo, federal agents showed up for an ICE raid, claiming they had no idea that the governor was in town. We have Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards live there with the story tonight. Chelsea.
Yeah, it happened just feet behind me in this plaza, just feet away from where that gathering with the state's top officials was taking place, sparking a lot of outrage in this community, as well as accusations that it was no coincidence that ICE showed up here.
What's wrong with you? People working! Go arrest criminals!
ICE agents descend on a plaza in Little Tokyo, just outside a news conference packed with elected officials.
Right behind you, brother. You guys are cowards!
A man delivering berries to a nearby tea house taken away in handcuffs, his van left on the street.
Well done.
Great.
We're here making Los Angeles a safer place. Since we won't have politicians that'll do that, we do that ourselves. So that's what we're here today.
And the governor's inside right there.
I don't know where he's at.
Governor Gavin Newsom says that's nonsense, addressing the crowd from inside the event.
And right outside, at this exact moment, are dozens and dozens of ICE agents. Donald Trump, you think it's coincidental?
There is no way this was a coincidence.
Outside, LA Mayor Karen Bass joined protesters and community members condemning the ICE operation.
This is a complete provocation. This has nothing to do with safety. In fact, this is the exact opposite of keeping our city safe.
He's demonizing and terrorizing our migrant communities. This needs to stop. This is fascism 100%.
Nope. You don't get to say that we're demonizing migrant communities. I know migrants that are legal members of the United States become citizens. Those people don't feel terrorized. It is mind-boggling to me that people cannot understand why our president is going about things the way he is. But let me read this to you guys. There was an article. Okay, everybody remembers back, it's about a month or two ago, where all those migrants were caught up in that Nebraska food packaging plant, right? And oh gosh, so many people are upset because these were just workers, Samantha. These were just hard workers. They just came here for a better life. Here is why. And see, that is the thing. People jump to the gun. You don't know why ICE is there. So you're just assuming they're just grabbing anybody, right? Just any poor little illegal, undocumented person on the street is just going to get scooped up, which in my opinion they should, but I'm not president. More than 70 immigrants were taken into federal custody during a workplace immigration enforcement raid at a Nebraska food packaging facility this month. Why? Because they were using stolen Social Security numbers and identities to gain work authorization and to be paid and get access to benefits. So the identification that they had allowed them access to benefits that belonged to an American citizen. Now, let me tell you why this is so bad. It says federal investigators determined that massive numbers of stolen identities were taken by workers, affecting over 100 people in multiple states. The workers at the Glen Valley Foods were taken into federal custody on June 10th. It says Chad Hartman, the president of the plant, told reporters that the company uses E-Verify. See, that's why the illegal aliens had to have stolen identities, because they're using an E-Verify system through the federal government that checks to make sure you are allowed to work in this country. However, Homeland Security investigation officials said that the employees who were characterized as good, hardworking, and honest had all stolen the identities they were using. These so-called honest workers have caused an immeasurable amount of financial and emotional hardship for innocent Americans. If you're pretending to be someone you are not in order to steal their lives, it is a blatant, dishonest criminal activity. They said that out of the 107 Glen Valley Foods workers who were targeted in the raid, 70 were detained by ICE based on their immigration status. One ICE agent told News Nation that a civil search warrant was executed based on reports that workers were using fake IDs, fraudulent IDs, or a combination of both. And then the owner, right, he tries to act innocent. He's like, I don't know why in the hell they're using false IDs when they can all get visas. These are really good people. They're part of the family. Okay. Among the people who had their identity stolen by the migrant workers was a Pennsylvania resident who was denied life-saving prescriptions. Another was a student going to school who lost all of her student aid. And it has other stories like that. Now, I want to tell you guys, there was a Social Security program under President Joe Biden called Enumeration Beyond Entry. Enumeration Beyond Entry. Nearly 2.1 million migrants received Social Security numbers in 2024. That was an increase of almost 1 million from 2023. The Social Security Administration reports that, in general, only non-citizens who are authorized by U.S. citizenship and immigration services to work in the country are eligible to receive Social Security numbers. All right, this is how you do it. This is okay. Once authorized to legally work in the U.S., migrants are eligible to apply for Social Security. However, the agency stipulates that for non-U.S. citizens to receive supplemental security income, they must have been granted a certain classification. Now, I want you guys to go look and see how many people Biden classified under one of these three categories. Legally admitted into the country as a permanent resident, granted conditional entry or asylum, paroled into the U.S., or admitted as a refugee. So almost all of the illegal aliens that Joe Biden led into this country have been sucking the Social Security system dry. I told y'all a while back, we're running out of money for our people. Why is that, Sam? Because I'm just going to let the president.
Destroyed. It was being destroyed. The average call wait time reached an all-time high of more than 42 minutes. Field office wait times were at 32 minutes, which is unheard of. And the disability claims backlog was the longest ever in recorded history. In other words, it was run just like the country was run. It was run really badly. But I'm pleased to report that under our leadership, and Frank in particular, the changes he's made and what he's done is sort of a miracle. Sort of like what happened with the country as a whole. Field office wait times are now down 30% since last year, and it looks like it's going to a total record number. And the record was set in a long time ago when the world was a lot different place. We're gonna beat that record. Call wait times are down 73% while serving twice as many customers per day. The disability claims backlog is down 26%, and seniors now have 24/7 online access to their accounts, which they never had before, whereas under Biden, the website was down 29 hours a week for maintenance purposes. It was essentially not open very much. They were always maintaining it, but they didn't know what the hell they were doing. They had a person running that had no idea what they were doing. Among my very first acts was to order all government employees to return to the office or be removed from the job, which means our Social Security offices are now open for full business hours 5 days a week. So unlike being shut down all the time, we're open at record levels also. We're making it really great for the people that want and demand Social Security, and they paid into the system. They deserve it. Last month, I signed one big, beautiful bill and allowed no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, okay? So how's that? Not bad, right? No tax on Social Security for our seniors. And to protect our benefits, we've already kicked nearly 275,000 illegal aliens off of the Social Security system. These are people, many of them have already left the country, and yet we were sending them checks all the time. And 275,000, and that number is now even larger than that, Frank. It's an unbelievable job. And what that's doing is making the system strong. It's making it strong. Biden never kicked anybody off. Everybody joined. And we're carrying out historic deportations to remove many more illegals committing Social Security fraud. It's the Social Security fraud that was taking place at levels that nobody's ever seen. We cleared 12.4 million names listed in the Social Security database over 120 years of age. Think of that. So we had 12.4 million names where they were over 120 years old. Is that right? That's a hell of a statement. I have a feeling, Dan, that's not really that really didn't happen, did it? So you have 12.4 million names listed in the Social Security database that were over 120 years of age, meaning you were breaking records, because I've never heard of anybody at 125. There were nearly 135,000 people listed who were over 160 years old.
And I think most of you have probably heard most of this before. I do want to say this. Let me tell you why it's so hard for you and I to survive in America right now. A lot of people want me to be against AIPAC, right? But why do we have a problem with having a country that is our ally working with our politicians? Why is that a problem? All right, I'm just asking, because listen to me. The total U.S. foreign aid budget for the year 2023, and this is going to blow your mind, was a $99 billion. 99 billion with a B was how much money the U.S. Department of Foreign Aid in 2023 gave out around the world. 99 billion. So why do I only hear conservative commentators and anti-Israel rhetoric that only the issue is AIPAC? I'm going to hold you. I'm going to hold you accountable for your own mouth. Why aren't you talking about almost $1 trillion in money and military weapons and aid being sent around the world in 2023? $1 trillion, because that is what 99.8 billion basically is. Let's just round it up, right? We all know how to round up. Anything 5 and up goes up. So 99.8 billion would round up to 1 trillion. Now, anybody want to guess what the biggest country received? Which country received the most? Ukraine. We all knew that, right? Ukraine received the highest amount, significantly more than the combined total of many other countries. So they break it up into two. You know, blue is money, economic help. Red is military. The Ukraine received the majority of their money in blue. All right. They received mainly blue. Yes, we support Israel. And the majority of that is military. Then you've got the Jordan and Egypt, Ethiopia and Somalia, Nigeria, all of those are very close to getting the exact same amount as Israel, but none of you are talking about that. And I'll link all of this in description. Go do your research. If you're hearing people scream about AIPAC, why aren't they discussing the fact that we gave Yemen $733 million in 2023? Why aren't they discussing that? Or how much money we've been giving to the Central African Republic or Taiwan or India? Why isn't anybody talking about that? Why isn't anybody talking about that you and I, the American taxpayers, had a president in 2023 that handed out $99.8 billion in American money and military equipment to the entirety of the world? Why is it only Israel that bothers you? I'm sorry. I think it's all BS. I think it is truly anti-Jew rhetoric, and I think it's because the people you're listening to are working for the Antichrist. I don't care anymore. I told y'all that. I'm not going to get caught up in this. Oh my gosh, this is so good. New York City's freaking out. Watch this.
President Trump's escalating crackdown on illegal immigration. Federal agents arresting an alleged ringleader for the notorious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, who they say is wanted for kidnapping and assault.
We are throwing them the hell out of our country. We have no apologies, and we're moving forward very fast.
No! The Amazon Fulfillment Center.
It was just another morning of work for employees at an Amazon fulfillment center in Edison when Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents stormed the facility. Within minutes, frightened employees scattered in all directions, desperate to escape. But with K-9 units sweeping through the aisles and drones circling overhead, there was no escaping this. Across multiple locations raided that same morning, hundreds of undocumented workers were shackled in chains before they were transported to different detention centers. And when agents started digging deeper, they uncovered a nationwide black market for fake IDs sophisticated enough to pass corporate hiring systems. What those IDs were being used for and how far the network reached would shock even seasoned investigators. Now the game has changed because authorities are not just going after the illegals. Their employers are in trouble as well. And with the way these raids are spreading, from Amazon warehouses to restaurants, construction sites, and beyond, both employers and their staff know that it is no longer a question of whether federal authorities will come knocking at their door. It is now a question of how soon. So, when about 30 ICE agents stormed that Amazon fulfillment center in Edison, New Jersey, the employees were completely shocked because they didn't see it coming. Pix 11. News reported that the situation was so tense that the employees started calling their family members to come to their rescue.
Family members rushed to the warehouse with documents in hand, hoping to help their loved ones.
Now you won't believe this. The agents actually entered the location with a list of all the workers, just so you know they meant business, and they got down to it right away. One of the workers told reporters that the agents ordered them to present their IDs.
David tells me in Spanish that he was zip-tied, but after showing proof of his social security and immigration status, he was let go and given this red bracelet.
Social Security. Wait, hey, Democrats, any of you Dems that are watching right now, thought you guys said that was a lie, that Trump was lying, that these people, these temporary people from other countries, they can't get Social Security numbers.
Adding that those without a bracelet were taken away.
This guy even claimed that ICE agents handcuffed and threw him on the floor, but eventually let him go.
They let me go because they had to, but they were just harassing people for no reason. People over here only working, nobody here doing nothing bad.
By the end of the operation, the agents reportedly detained anywhere between 15 to 20 people and drove away with them. Now, the crazy thing is, that same morning, federal agents were also active in New York. In Washington Heights and earlier in the Bronx, agents moved into buildings and repeated the same drill, checking documents, separating those without authorization, and leaving with multiple detainees. Now, as some of you probably know, everything we're seeing now has been building up for months. But according to NBC News, the speed and number are staggering.
Two sources familiar with the planning confirmed to NBC News ICE leadership has told agents to increase their arrest of undocumented immigrants to 1,200 to 1,500 per day nationwide. One source calling it a quota, adding agents may be penalized for not meeting it.
You see, since January 2025, more than 1,000 undocumented workers have been arrested in workplace operations across the country, with over 1,200 businesses under active investigation. So, Amazon facilities were not the only targets. Restaurants, construction sites, food markets, factories in multiple states, you name it.
How do y'all feel about that? What do you think about that? Let me go up to what else here. This is what I want. I want the fake ID because I've got more to talk about this.
No industry appears off limits. As you guys already know, many of the workers taken during these raids did not simply walk in and get hired, and that's the most dangerous part. In several cities, especially in New York and Chicago, criminal networks are openly selling the documents needed to pass corporate hiring checks.
For the first time, we can show you this wall. Fake licenses, passports, social security, and international ID cards handed over by people trying to fake their citizenship.
It's a reminder of what people try to get away with.
The prices range from $80 for low-quality fakes to $500 for those capable of passing more rigorous verification systems. And that's not even all. Some of these documents are created using stolen personal information from data breaches. Others are copies of legitimate IDs originally belonging to people who resemble the buyer. So that means you, watching this video right now, you are not safe. One Alejandro somewhere could be walking around with a copy of your driver's license inside his pocket, and you'd never know. In more sophisticated operations, gangs use stolen or leaked identity data to produce new IDs that appear authentic in government and employment databases. Shelters that were open to house asylum seekers in sanctuary cities have become recruitment grounds for trafficking victims. According to officials, gangs inside these shelters target new arrivals, offer them a way to earn money, and then place them in jobs using fraudulent documents. And you guessed it right, because when the paychecks from those jobs come, they go directly to the traffickers who would then give them peanuts, just enough to keep them hustling for more. Now, make no mistake, this thing extends beyond small businesses. Criminal facilitators have found ways to get workers into larger companies with stricter hiring processes. The fake IDs allow workers to appear fully authorized during onboarding, making it harder for employers or investigators to detect the fraud immediately. So now, everyone is asking, where does the funding for these documents come from? Well, they come from organized theft. These criminal gangs sell stolen goods in street markets, using the cash to produce or buy IDs for their clients seeking steady employment. In return, the gangs maintain control over those workers, profiting from their wages and keeping them dependent on the network. For investigators, this is one of the reasons workplace raids are not random. If intelligence suggests a dangerous individual is embedded in a business, there is a strong likelihood others connected to that network are also inside. The Edison warehouse raid, and others like it, were carried out under that logic to remove not just the primary target, but the system that supports them. But the problem is, people are protesting that innocent people might get displaced in the process. The growing number of raids has triggered immediate...
Let's discuss that, folks. None of these people are innocent. None of these people are children. All right? Actually, let's be honest. There have been numerous children found to be working where it's illegal for these kids to be working due to age. They should be in school, but they've got them working. The only way to fix this is to do exactly what our president is doing. Take the tips, research it, go in, scoop them up, right? Get rid of them. Now, like I said, all of this will be listed in the description of the video. Do not forget, we have a Zoom tonight for you guys that row in my boat. We will be Zooming tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, if you did not receive an email, you should have, check spam. It'll be coming from Kelly. It is the same passcode and password has always been. So it's just the same one we used last time. If somebody asks, oh, I don't have it, could y'all give it to me? Do not write it in comments. Do not put it in comments. This is for people that row in our boat. Oh, no, I dropped my pen. Good thing I have a second one. If you guys do not know, I do not get paid by YouTube. My husband is fighting a brain aneurysm, and he had to miss Monday because we were in New Orleans for tests. He had to come home yesterday with a splitting headache. Guys, even if you send $1 or just some money for treats for the dogs to help me keep Hammer on raw meat, anything you could do would be such a blessing. It's just hard. And by the way, I am now published author. You can find that book. It is called Growing Under a Poisoned Sky. It's everywhere. Just type in Growing Under a Poisoned with a D sky book. You just type in book. It's going to pull it up for you guys. It's everywhere. It's so amazing. God's so good. Now, I want to show you guys this because I've done videos on this and I've been talking about the portals.
Confused. It felt like a bigger explosion of a firecracker, but one of them explosive firecrackers, and it shook me in the house.
One street, it had a whole bunch of police officers, and they were at this neighbor house because that's where the address was. And the guy at the address said that it wasn't his house. It's not here. So we just rode around looking everywhere. We still haven't found it.
The most recent update, none of the authorities know where the sound came from, which is kind of crazy because I remember living in Orlando and sometimes we would get sonic booms to the point they would shake the entire house. But a couple hours later, we would hear on the news where the source of the sonic boom came from.
Well, that's right. The sheriff's office, the precinct 4 constable's office, as well as the fire department, they all say they don't know what caused it. But one thing is for certain, neighbors out here are pretty curious.
What? It was over here. There's spirals coming. Look at it. There's spirals coming out of it.
Yeah, I do see that.
Look at it on my phone. You see it better. What the f is that? I mean, that's the craziest.
Now, I'm not saying that these two stories have anything to do with one another, but on the exact same day, multiple people took to social media to report that they were seeing these spirals in the skies. Reading this from X, which was posted on August 12th, it goes on to say, multiple reports from different states, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, Western Virginia, New York, Connecticut, Oklahoma, maybe others, showing a spiral light in the sky. Anyone else see it, drop your state. Now, some may believe this is coming from SpaceX, but SpaceX did not launch yesterday. The official statement came from Weather Ontario. What you saw was actually the exhaust plume from the upper stage of United Launch Alliance's Vulcan rocket, launched from Cape Canaveral at 8:56 p.m. Eastern Time for the USSF 106 mission. But like I said, there are people in multiple states that are saying they witnessed this, not just people in the northeastern states, but people also in Missouri, people in Nebraska, and people are in unity saying that they are not buying the official explanation because of the Vulcan East trajectory.
It's crazy. What's that?
So people who have witnessed this, they are doing more research because they really do believe that something's not adding up. Like this individual here, Deus Ex Machiavelli, he goes on to say that things aren't really adding up, haven't encountered a good explanation as to why observers in so many states are reporting viewing the exhaust plumes overhead or to the north. So he went to AI for answers. Now, personally, I do not like using AI for answers, but that's my personal preference. But this is what it told him. It went on to say, the image you uploaded taken in Pennsylvania shows a luminous spiral formation centered in the night sky resembling a comet tail or a galaxy-like swirl with a bright core or trailing arms. Reports from the X thread, including the Iowa sighting and multiple replies from New Jersey, Massachusetts, Missouri, and Pennsylvania, consistently describe the phenomenon as appearing in the northern sky or moving northward. This matches your image and...
Did any of y'all see that? What they're talking about? To me, it looked like almost like one of those portals we've been talking about, right? So this is what everybody was seeing. Look at this thing. Look at this. Oh, let me push play for you.
multiple theories floating out there that this could be a possible UAP, this could be a portal opening up, or this could be Project Bluebeam getting ready for a staged fake alien invasion. Because we do know there are multiple...
Okay, so let's talk about that. I have said it and said it and said it. When the rapture happens, the way they are going to convince everybody that God, that Jesus didn't call up his church and they didn't get left behind is they're going to say it was an alien invasion because there'll be no babies. There'll be no true Christians. Jesus, Bible believing Christians, all of us are going to be gone. So I personally, I've done enough information for you guys on portals and what our government is capable of doing with time travel. This is not conspiracy. It is fact. And on top of that, when you look at something like this and you think about DARPA, which we bring up in our book, Growing Under a Poison Sky, all of that is connected, folks. It's all connected, right? Now, you keep hearing there's something wrong with the honeybees, the honeybees, the honeybees. You know, oh, they're going to outlaw honeybees. My dad is one of the only people I've ever seen be truly honest about the bee situation. Honeybees are technically an invasive species in America from out of Europe. We have bees in America that are going extinct because of the honeybee. So I want you to hear the truth here.
Fuzzy and in a lot of trouble. These insects are actually all bees, wild ones. And they're debatably more important than the honey-making kind. People are really worried about bees.
We will take the plight of the honeybee for granted at our own peril.
But what most people don't know, honeybee numbers are increasing worldwide. Not just that, but the way humans use honeybees makes them a problem. Putting a honeybee hive in your backyard doesn't help. Because we're saving the wrong bees. Animals are involved in the pollination of 90% of the world's flowering plants. And when you think of pollinators, the honeybee probably comes to mind. That's because honeybees and humans have an ancient relationship. Bees have been managed for thousands of years.
There's a lot of evidence that it has played an important role also in the ancient cultures in Egypt and Greece. And so beekeeping has always been very widespread.
Axel is the chair of the Invertebrate Conservation Committee at the IUCN. Honeybees are native to Asia, Europe, and Africa, but nowadays are everywhere except Antarctica.
So let me go ahead and just make this point for you guys. My dad raises us, a couple of small hives of honeybees because he likes the honey, right? And honey is amazing. It's antimicrobial. You can put it on wounds. It's antiviral. It's an antifungal. It is a superfood. Nobody can argue that. But did you realize that honeybees are not necessarily pollinating your gardens? So I have, because my dad taught me to do this, I built little tiny insect hotels and I hide them around the flowers that grow tall in my garden because I grow flowers alongside my fruiting vegetables. And the reason I'm telling you that is there is a specific type of Louisiana bee that actually pollinates our blueberry bushes. And because certain insects pollinate certain plants, it's so amazing. My dad does deep dives on this, but like this insect is uniquely created to pollinate this plant. So it's also why it is important to make sure that you are planting native species in your yards and around your gardens. Because what happens is we bring outside plants that don't belong in this area, and the insects we have in this area need specific plants to survive. Does that make sense? So it's just really interesting. I just wanted to point out to you guys, I know there's been a lot of chit chat about the honeybees are dying, but seriously, folks, we need to worry about our native honeybees, okay? I also want to show this to you guys. When I was talking to y'all earlier about all the illegal aliens, this is what I was about. In another case, an American California was struggling for 15 years to regain his identity and mend financial damages after an illegal alien at Glen Valley Foods stole his ID. Then there was a full-time nursing student in Missouri lost her college tuition assistance after an illegal alien working at Glen Valley Foods stole her ID. This is not a joke. It's happening. You know, these people need to be rounded up, removed. Like, I'm telling you what, I stand with ICE. I absolutely do. Your flight out of the USA are now boarding at gates 45 and 47. We have to get them out, folks. We absolutely have to get these people out of our country. They're destroying our economy. It's actually economic terrorism. Look at this one. This one's a good one. She looks sad, but don't feel bad for her. She's a wolf in sheep's clothing with criminal histories in Colorado, California. Yeah. Racketeering, identity theft, mail fraud, and forgery. This is her here. She also started a GoFundMe because she faked her own kidnapping with ICE. Illegal immigrant charged with faking on ICE kidnapping. It's so out of control. And these bleeding hearts, you know, you say the same people, man, it just really irritates me. Don't tell me that you care about children if you're not going to take care of the people that are trafficked. This is the real problem.
¿Y cuánto tiempo te demoras para hacerlo? Oh.
Selling IDs.
Él es de Canadá.
MS 13 gang members selling fake IDs and social security cards. Says here, false birth certificates, social security, and passports like criminal illegal invaders outwit the system. Man, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. This guy, though, I'm so glad they caught him. I mean, you've got to be an absolute idiot. Oh, I'm gonna run. In a pink shirt. This is what's wrong with America. Trying to make your country better, and that's what they have to put up with. And look at this one. DC residents not used to being held accountable were shocked when the DC Metro Police for interfering with an arrest. Watch this one. Back off! Back off! Back off! Exactly what y'all need, too. Back off! Back off! Get him! Back off! No, y'all out of control. This country's out of control. Okay, NFL's actively trying to tick off their most loyal fans. What is the reason? Oh yeah, this is the sexual perversion I'm talking about going on in this country. Okay, so let's see what this one is. The EBT abuse is coming to an end. Viral 28 mother of 9 who's pregnant with triplets makes videos about spending $1,000 a month on food stamps, just got her EBT terminated.
What's up, girl? It's your girl Quay, and yeah, let's cook these kids some breakfast. We're gonna cook some buttermilk waffles, some French toast egg, blueberry waffles, and I'm gonna do some Roger Wood sausages. So yeah, y'all, just look cook me. I'm gonna go with some.
Good gracious. And they call this
Walmart,
food.
Piggly Wiggly. Basically everywhere, honestly. Kroger's. Yeah. Get one for your egg, straight to jail. Y'all make me drink some breakfast. And Kelly and I'm Walmart tonight. They said if I find you one free, I go straight to jail. I ain't gonna hold you up. I'm not gonna hold you up, baby. Your ass going to jail. You gotta go. You going straight to jail. Going tonight, if I find you one free. What you doing? Self-checkout? Girl, let me know. Everything I was doing was self-checkout. I'm gonna scan y'all up. They trusting you to scan everything.
That's horrific. Done cut my food stamps off. So I don't need you to know that. That's probably not true. They should remove this woman's children from her. Did y'all see what she did? You see in video 1, she's like overcooking everything. And then in video 2, it's like one little scoop of mashed potatoes, one little piece of meat, and then she pans over all these like one. Somebody go get this woman's kids from her. Man, that's ridiculous. When I see this gal bawling over being picked up by ICE, I wonder how badly Lake and Raleigh cried when she was being killed by an illegal. Amen, sister. And of course, they got the camera right in her face, right? It's all flipping propaganda. Where's she being arrested at? Anybody see her being arrested? I see cameras. Look, no. Y'all need to get off the internet. It's the same with that crap with the starving kids in Gaza. Real talk, folks. Look, guys, look, nobody has a bigger bleeding heart than me. Okay. I grow food in South Louisiana and give it all away for free because we live in a food desert and there are children here. And I want to make sure they have organic food. I want to make sure the older people that speak life into my life and treat me like I'm their own child, even though I'm a completely different color. I want to make sure that they have their favorite version of okra when they're in their 90s and they can't grow it anymore. But America gave away $99.8 billion in 2023 around the world. Candace Owens is asking other people to pay for her lawsuit to take our freedom of speech rights away from us. YouTube hasn't paid me in almost 5 months, and people want to get mad at me for saying, hey, if you donate to my channel, I'll get you the newsletter, and I'll go one step further. I'll meet you in Zooms. I'll help you get you guys set up by state to start taking back territory, to start fighting child trafficking. If that's not good enough for you, friends and family, I don't know what is. But I love you. I need to get ready for lunch. My husband will be home soon. God bless each and every one of you. Keep your head up. And remember, 99.9% of what you are seeing on everything is flat out propaganda.